before we start our discussions, I mean, let's just take a look at how women and the role of women have actually evolved. I mean, if you think about it, career-driven now, more personal income, which means purchase power. We're getting married later, having children later. So, Andrea, how do marketers actually respond to this? Are they aware of all these changes, and do you think they're getting it right?
I think absolutely there are some sharp marketers that are definitely understanding that women play different roles in their lives, whether it's mother, lover, friend, employer. But then there are some companies and brands that are not getting it right, and I think we'll get onto that, where they stereotype women, and then they get it wrong.
Is that the pink marketing?
Yes, that's the pink marketing.
Yeah, it's almost like a blanket effect. Now, you are a personal shopper, and I mean, you shop for a living. I think we all do, you know, and, whether it's groceries or clothes or shoes or whatever we love. How do you feel, Shika, you know, as a woman, to be communicated to? Like, do you like this blanket effect? Do you think this whole pink marketing, all females should be, you know, communicated the same?
No, definitely not. I mean, all females are different, as we said when we started off the show. So, for me, pink marketing does not appeal to me. I mean, first I don't like the color pink, so you know. So yeah, I'm very much. I get into a shop, I go to whatever I want to do, I buy it, and then I'm out again. So yeah, I mean, you go there with the goal, and then you get to whatever you want to do, and then you're out of the shop.
But a lot of women don't do that. We look around, and you know, we shop differently, definitely to males. But before we get there, Kristina, give us some insights on the term pink marketing.
I think it's just a blanket term targeting female shoppers, and as Andrea said, I think it's quite outdated. Marketers tend to see female shoppers in two roles, either as a carer, so as a mom or a nurse or looking after somebody, or as a career woman, so somebody who's quite hard. In fact, it's a male role dressed up as a female role. And it's nonsense. I'm a career woman, I'm also a mom, I'm a carer, I'm a whole lot of other things, and so are we all. So it's a very old-fashioned way of seeing people. You all remember those 1950s ads with the woman sort of holding up something like this, you know, dress your man well. Life's not like that anymore.
And maybe it worked in the 50s, but we're certainly not there
completely. I think that women have become much more, dare I say, evolved. I mean, maybe that's the wrong term, but I think that we've become much more multifaceted in our interactions. We're not just a mom sitting at home watching television, looking after children. We've got a diversity of roles. We do so many different things. We juggle different roles, and it's simply outdated to view us like that.
Well, let's look at the different segments. I mean, we've mentioned a few, but I mean, you get single moms, you get stay-at-home moms, you get the executives, you know. So how do marketers or brands or advertisers, how should they go ahead when they have got all this information? How should messages then be targeted to all these segments, Andrea?
So I think you've got to look at it from two different angles. You could look at it from a typology perspective when you talked about mums or single mums, etc. But I also think you need to look at it from the needs that your product are sort of addressing or delivering. So rather than only looking through the lens of the consumer, it's also saying, well, what is your product delivering? Understand what the consumers are looking for. So a consumer is looking for something quite different if it's a convenience food versus if it's a lipstick. So if it's makeup, yes, you're going to play to the femininity that women do want to look beautiful. That's a universal truth. But if you're looking at sort of soap powders, that's a very different kind of need state that you're going to need to market to. So I think you've got to be quite strategic and understand your category and not just paint it with a pink brush, and really understand the needs around what your product's delivering and solving, really, or the solution it's providing.
Absolutely. I mean, I think marketers make such a mistake when they position a car as a beauty product, or dare I say, a power tool, and if they're going to paint it pink, it's going to appeal to women. Women are looking for, if a woman's buying a drill, they're looking for exactly the same functional benefits that product's going to offer that a man's looking for. So painting it a different colour is dumbing us down. And actually causes quite a lot of resentment amongst women, and they find it offensive.
So I was going to say, there's a great example a couple of years ago in the US. Dell Computers decided they were going to position a computer specifically for women, and they created a website which they painted pink, and they had a whole lot of like recipes and other kind of womanly things on their website. And there was a massive backlash. Because I mean, clearly women use computers and we're looking for the same functionality.
We feel it's almost derogatory, you know.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Make it pink and it will work.
Absolutely.
You know?
It's so demeaning, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know?
And what's interesting is that you touched on sort of non-traditional female brands. It's not just for the female. I mean, if you look at cars, it's not just because we own or earn our own disposable income that we're in the market to shop. I mean, if our husbands or partners want to buy us a car, guess who decides what the brand is? The female does. Right or wrong?
Absolutely. No, absolutely.
So it's then we're just saying again, you know, talked about. I met with Bacchus Brothers the other day, and they said that their target market for couches is ladies. It's not men. Ladies buy the couch in the house, and they actually make sure that the couch is short enough so that the feet actually touch the ground. How incredible is that?
Clever. And also understanding that she may not be the only consumer, but she's probably the shopper.
Yeah.
So best you
She has
appeal to her in
purchase
that exactly.
Yeah.
When she's the one going to pay that check, so make sure that she's, you know, you're appealing to her in that environment. I'm in the market for a new car, and I went on a Saturday because I work to a car dealership. And it's a 4x4 that I'm looking for. And walked up to the guy and said, you know, I'm interested in buying this car. And he did his whole sales spiel to my husband. I walked out of that dealership and I walked to the competitor brand across the road.
Exactly.
You know, it's just old-fashioned.
Thinking that what would we know?
Exactly. So my husband's buying the car, it's me.
Yeah, exactly. And you will tell him exactly what brand you want as well.
Yes.
Because I was also going to say that also with male products, a lot of women buy men's products for their husbands or their sons or their brothers or their children. And I mean, like, I buy my husband's deodorant.
Exactly.
So you know, is Axe marketing to me or to my husband?
That's true.
So you've also got to think of, in the shopper world,
100%.
Who's consuming the brand and who's purchasing the brand.
Who's making the decision? Because Shika, have you not also noticed that your helper at home will tell you exactly by brand name what she needs?
Definitely.
It's Handy Andy.
Yes.
And it's Rama. And don't you dare come with a no-name brand. I came home with a no-name brand the other day and it was unacceptable. Because Handy Andy cleans better and lasts longer. Have you noticed that?
Even like with the, not only the Handy Andy, like with the dishwashing liquid, if you were to buy a competitor brand other than Sunlight,
beware.
Then sorry, you know, I can't use that because it's like, it's not as thick as Sunlight liquid.
Exactly, it doesn't last as long. So there we go. So Kristina, tell us about, you head up for brand activation, the shopper marketing.
That's right.
So that sounds very exciting. What does that mean? What is it? Just to give us the definition of what is shopper marketing.
Really, shopper marketing just looks at how consumers behave in a shopping environment. Yeah. So you may be one consumer, and we would, as marketers, find out certain insights about you and what drives your purchases and what makes you interested in certain categories. However, that becomes much more complicated when you're actually buying, because let's use a category like, let's say disposable nappies as a category. If you're a mom and you're buying your disposable nappies at the end of the month and you go to a big hyper store, what are you looking for? You're looking for your right brand in bulk packs when you can actually pantry load and take them home. If you ran out of disposable nappies at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday and you went to your local BP Express up the road, I promise you're not looking for those things. You're looking for any nappy that happens to fit the baby at that time. So as marketers, our job becomes much more complicated. As you said earlier, a consumer may be a different person to a shopper, but even if it's the same person, those triggers that one needs to sort of leverage in the point of sale environment are very, very different depending on which retail environment it's in. And men and women shop very differently.
They do, don't they? We mentioned it just now. Give us some analogies that you can draw.
I always say men shop like they drive. So you know, they get in that car, they're goal focused, and they don't ask for directions. Even though they may want to ask for directions, they'll rather figure it out on their own. They shop exactly the same. I'm going to buy a pair of jeans. I'm determined to get that pair of jeans. I'm not going to ask for any help, even though I may want the help, but I'd rather figure out the sizes and whatever.
By myself,
And I
get frustrated, turn around, walk out,
And my whole shopping, my shop may take half an hour. And I measure success by what I walk out of the shop with. So have I bought a pair of jeans? Women are completely different. We take the long route. The journey is far more important than the destination. We chat to our friends. We may spend the entire day in Sandton City,
absolutely,
and come out with a pair of socks, and it was a successful shopping trip.
What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, I also think there's some other elements. You know, packaging and aesthetics also really important for women. So I mean, I don't know about all of you, but we keep bags. Who's got a bag of bags in there?
Yeah.
I mean, my husband would never keep bags, or you know, those empty perfume boxes. Why do you keep those? I don't know, but you do. And so marketers also need to look at the whole aesthetics around a brand. So the packaging, the bag that it comes in. I mean, women wrap presents for themselves in beautiful packaging. So there's all those different elements that marketing to a woman is much more important than it is to a man. So the packaging really isn't that necessarily important.
It's about the end product.
Absolutely.
Where for females, it's about the experience.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it means we need to market differently. So for a man, if you want to be effective, make it really easy for him to find those practical. To find those jeans quickly. So make sure your sizes are there, sort of make sure that it's one jeans category. Whereas for a woman, maybe you want to take her on a beautiful little journey to get there.
Do you think that's why maybe the fragrances are always in the beginning? And this, you know, when you walk into like a Stutterford's or whatever, you always have the fragrances, then you have the bags, then you have the shoes. I mean, man, by the time you get to the pair of jeans, you've already got like 2 bags full, isn't that?